I wanted to bring up another subject in regards to relationships and communication. The more that I think about it, the more scenarios come up. And please keep in mind, a lot of these things I brought up are based on experiences I've either been exposed to or have been involved in. And I'm sharing the lessons that I have learned with you, so you could be able to not make the mistakes that I've made or be privy to the mistakes that I witnessed. So, in regards to communication, some people have different communication styles. And the disconnect comes when you have one person who communicates one way, who is involved with another person who communicates a different way. And neither one of them wants to come to some sort of compromise on how they're going to get along. Let me give you an example. You have some people in this world who are just happy-go-lucky. No boundaries. Everything is a party. They just go fly by the seat of their pants. No planning. And it's not that they're bad people. Some people get along just fine with that, and they live very fruitful lives. It's just the way they get down. Whatever happens, happens, and that's it. Then you have this other group of people that could have been raised in a very strict and conservative manner. Everything is calculated and premeditated and pre-planned. Conduct is very, very strict, is highly monitored. And they grow up in a way where everything is just very meticulous and very detail-oriented, and very organized. They believe in planning. They can't live without a plan. So everything is thought out ahead of time. There is no randomness in their life. There's no impulsivity at all. And you get together with this person who's impulsive. Now, there are some cases where opposites do attract because the person who's impulsive might be looking for that structure. If they are looking for that structure and looking for those qualities that they do not have and feel in their mind, excuse me, I'm sorry, it's kind of late. And they decide in their mind, this is what's missing in my life. They've done a self-assessment and they're seeking that in their partner. Then they can embrace a partner of that nature and they can live a very fruitful life together. And vice versa. That person might, the person who is very rigid and very structured and organized and detail-oriented, they could be totally happy with themselves. However, they may want that person who is impulsive and free-spirited because that appeals to different qualities that they do not have. It might help bring those qualities out in them. They have a certain amount of admiration for them. So they're looking for that to complement what they have. They're looking for it. And those are the key words. Then you have these group of people that are opposites. And neither one of them is looking for what the other has to offer in that regard. A matter of fact, it's to the point where they're irritated by the other one's behavior. And see, this is where things become toxic in relationships. In the beginning, it was probably cute that opposites attract. But then when you start dealing with day-to-day situations and you're set in your ways and the other person set in their ways and there is no compromise, you're not really interested in trying to fully accept that person's attitude, and you figure in your mind you're going to do what you want to do, or you're going to try to indoctrinate the other person to your thinking. See, this is where the communication problems come in. Otherwise, everything could have been fine. There is no acceptance of the fact that this person is different than you and they have no intention of becoming like you. And that's regardless of what your personality is. If you're not willing to accept the fact that, okay, this person has lived their life XYZ up until this, and just because I come along and I make them feel good, I'm going to change that. All those years of programming and all those years of living life on their terms with this mindset, you're going to come along because you're so special and everything is just going to change just because you say I love you. No, that's not being mature, people. It really isn't. Now, like I said before, in the case of the first couple, if it's a situation where those people are looking for their opposite to complete their life, then that's fine. It'll work out when both people are thinking that way because they're willing to accept the differences in the other person. And that's basically what this boils down to, accepting the difference in the other person. And when you have somebody that comes from one background and they probably spent their entire life, if not avoiding, but also criticizing the same type of person that they're involved in, and then eventually they catch up with that person, they're not accepting of that person. They've already got it in their mind going in there that they're going to change that person's attitude. And I don't mean any harm or anything, but males are dominant creatures. But I see this a lot of these situations with men. The majority of men try to do this. They'll try to change a woman's background and change her attitude and change how she thinks about things just because he pays a bill or two and he's the king in the bedroom. So you come across a woman that's been around all these years and has built a life based on her beliefs and the way she handles things and her viewpoints of life. But just because you come in with a platinum card and good bedroom skills, she's supposed to change her mind. Change everything that she's about, everything that she came from. She's supposed to just change everything. Okay, you know what? What if it does work for a little while? Eventually she's going to go back to being who she is because she's going to get tired of your foolishness. The type of life that you live is not appealing to her for whatever reason. Or you're going to get tired of her being so rigid. Then here come the name call. Going to start calling each other names. Throwing a little shade here and there. And after a while, people are going to get sick and tired of you throwing a little shade and everything. They're going to want to spend less time with you. They're not going to want to talk to you. And we all know what happens when communication breaks down. Yeah, the bedroom activity is not going to be hot and popping anymore. Nobody's going to want to be involved and want to have any type of sexual relations with somebody who does not even respect who they are. And if they do, they're just doing it with you until they can find somebody else. They're simply satisfying a basic biological need because the first person who comes along that offers them a little bit more and a little bit more understanding and willing to listen and some acceptance, they may not be as stellar as you are in the bedroom, but guess what? They're going to replace you because they're offering more on an emotional level. I'm speaking for females. They're offering more on an emotional level than you are. You got more money and a bigger dick. But if you're being a dick, guess what? You're going to lose out to the average Joe that's making maybe $40,000 a year, who gets his hands dirty every single day, and who's willing to listen and pay attention to this woman. She will very politely pack her shit and leave you. And see, that's part of you guys' problem. You're running around here posturing in the street like you're balling out of control. I don't understand what's wrong with her. I got this car, and I dress like this, and I got all this money, and blah, 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 blah. But you are not providing her with the sense of stability and security and the sense of self that she needs as a woman. All you're doing is getting between her legs and throwing a few dollars. And a real woman, I'm not talking about those other types of females, a real woman who is trying to live a real life, she's going to look at that and she's going to be like, okay. She's either going to dump you right away or she's just going to use you in the meantime until a real man comes along that has a little bit more. And she's not going to worry about how much paper he has, because 9 times out of 10, she's probably got her own paper anyway, so it's not a big deal. If she's a real woman, she's got her own income anyway. But she's willing to take a little bit less income because it's not on her top 10, it's not her top 3. She's looking for someone who's willing to be a partner and accept her for what she is, because she realizes that acceptance has way more value than a bankroll. I'll say that again. Acceptance of a person has more value than a bankroll. And that's the truth. So a lot of toxic relationships are involving people who want the other person to be whatever they want them to be. And the sad part about it is let's say that person does conform to however this person is. It's not going to last anyway, because they're going to wind up reverting back to who they naturally were. They can only fake the front for so long. There's a phrase out there that says, fake it till you make it. It's only till you make it. You can't fake it forever. Because there's no such thing as faking it forever. That's not a life. You lose yourself. So I'm just putting it out there, for you people who figure, okay, all you have to do is just be hypersexual and have a big bankroll. Do yourself a favor, stay in your lane, and just stay with those people who prescribe to that, and that's all they need. Because once you step outside that particular realm and want to start dealing with people that have a little bit more and want a little bit more, you're not going to be able to hang with that. You're going to be in a constant state of confusion. You're not going to understand why they don't want to be bothered with you. You're not going to understand why they have other things to do when you're available and you want them to spend time with. They're not going to prescribe to your childish and materialistic behaviors. They don't have time. They're on another level. So just stay in your lane and deal with those people on that level and just have yourself a great ass time. Because unless you're willing to level up emotionally, you can't deal with these people. There'll never be any satisfaction whatsoever. None. Zero. I'm saying this from a place of love. I'm trying to save you from wasting your time. There's nothing wrong with staying in your lane. Stay in your lane and be happy if you don't want to level up. But decide in your mind, once you do, there's going to be some growing pains. There's no room for a power struggle. Because those people are not going to put up with it. Just saying.